I got pissed off to the point where I was like, it can't be this. So it has to be something better. I had asked my boss's boss, like, what do I need to do to get promoted, to get to the next level? He said, there's nothing else you need to prove. We're not ready to promote you. It was like this light bulb. I'm like, it was never going to be me. I started on TikTok because I just didn't think anybody that I worked with was over there. So I just felt like I was hiding. I had a fear of being seen. I was struggling with my confidence. And so I had to be delusional and like really believing it until my confidence was able to catch up. When you're afraid of like what people are going to say about you, it stops you from being able to explore, and that can kind of stop your creativity from happening. I have almost 700,000 followers at this point.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Coffee No Cream podcast. My name is Erin Braxton and I am the host of Coffee No Cream. Here on Coffee No Cream, we are unapologetically dedicated to Black women, and we share what I like to call Coffee No Cream moments, those things that happen to us Black women in business and in life just because we are Black women. Today, I have creator Roxy Couse. She is someone that I have been following along and watching on TikTok for, almost a year. Roxy left her very well-paying corporate job to become a full-time creator. And she's going to share how that journey went, why she left, what triggered the leave, and just talk about being a creator as a Black woman in 2026. It's something that I know a lot of us have thought about. I know before I came online and started Coffee No Cream, I had ideas. It was in my mind for over a year before I actually published my first podcast episode. And I know a lot of you want to do something. You're thinking about doing something. And this is something Roxy actually did before she left corporate. Roxy has over 700,000 followers and subscribers across her social media platform. So she is seasoned, she is successful, and she was able to match and exceed her corporate income by creating on social media. So I think you're in for a treat if this is something that you're looking to do. Before we get into it though, please like, please share, please subscribe. We've got the Facebook group. We've got the free 2,000 resources, free educational resources, coffeenocream.com/free. The link is below. And that's it. So let's get into the episode. Welcome, Roxy. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited that you're here because, I've been hawking you for for some time, and I like what you be talking about. So I thought the Coffee No Cream listeners, viewers would like it too. So
Yeah,
you're a content creator, right?
I am. I'm a creator.
You're a creator. Is that what you prefer? You prefer creator?
I think so. I think so.
Is content creator getting a bad rap these days? Maybe.
I don't think so. I think I think the type of content that I put out is it's I feel like it's a little different, and I'm in a lot of different areas where I just feel like creator makes more sense.
Okay. Well, you're a creator that began creating in corporate.
I did.
And I want to talk about that because I too am an entrepreneur. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a creator or a content creator simply because I have a whole different company and I'm not at Roxy status level yet, But tell us about you. Like let the viewers know who you are. Like give us your background. I know you worked in corporate and tech, right? And,
I did.
Talk about it.
So yeah, I worked in corporate for almost 15 years. I worked for several Fortune 500 companies before I moved into the tech space. So I worked at companies like Dillard's, Whirlpool, Avery Dennison, Univar Solutions, just to name a few. And then I moved on to the tech side where I worked at companies like Bloomreach, as well as Sitecore. And it was my role in corporate. I started in e-commerce. So for most of my career, I was working in e-commerce. Then I moved to the marketing side, customer marketing, before I left corporate. I left corporate last August, so it's almost been a year, which is amazing. I always talk about how when I worked in corporate, I probably barely took like 2 weeks of vacation every year, and to now be almost a year outside of corporate, it just I don't know if I'll ever get over it, but what made it possible for me to leave corporate is I did start showing up on social media, and I built a presence across. I started with TikTok because I just felt like, and actually, I didn't even talk about my roles in corporate. So my last role in corporate, I was senior director. But when I started creating content, I was at the senior manager level, and I started on TikTok because I just didn't think anybody that I worked with was over there. So I just felt like I was hiding on the internet, and I think that's also why I like struggle with the content creation name, because I'm like, am I a creator? Like when I think about content creation, I think about like dancing on TikTok. I feel like I'm an elder millennial for saying that. But so started on TikTok, grew a presence, went over to Instagram, grew over there. And then when I was feeling super bold because I had built this personal brand and I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? Then I went over to LinkedIn. LinkedIn was the last platform that I went over to because it just this professional persona on that platform, but was able to grow across social media. I have almost 700,000 followers at this point. I recently launched a tech platform, so I'm in founder mode too. And right now it's early stage. We have paying beta users, and I'm just working on building this platform to help more people to build their personal brand because I've seen the impact that it has had on my life. And so that's a little bit about me.
I love it. Personal people like personal brand, personal brand. I didn't mean to make Coffee No Cream my personal brand. I mean, maybe I did, but I love what you're doing. I love all of it because we talk so much about stepping out, leaving corporate, doing your own thing. And I like how you talked about you started on TikTok because you thought nobody you knew was going to be over there. So even now, I've had this podcast for a little bit over a year, and it's enough to try to get yourself started, but then we all are like, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? And now, you just get over it, right? After you've been
You
doing
do.
it. You do.
Yeah, I tell people this all the time. It's like you do have to get over this fear of being seen,
Oh, yeah.
because when you're afraid of like what people are going to say about you, it stops you from being able to just explore, like figure out what's working, because you're just so used to just thinking about people watching you, and that can kind of stop your creativity from happening.
Well, and also, nobody's looking at you like that. Like,
Yeah,
you think
exactly.
everybody's just like all dialed into what you're doing. Nobody cares.
Exactly. People definitely don't care as much as we think that they care about what we're doing, what we got going on, because everybody's living their own life. And sure, there's going to be people saying things about it, but at the end of the day, nobody cares as much as you think that they care about what you're doing.
You know how many friends of mine who have never watched my podcast, and I've got you're going to be episode 62. Um, People I've said stuff about on this podcast, not bad, but I'm like clearly talking about them. I'm like, they're probably never even going to see it. You know what I'm saying? Just like, okay. So, yeah. So, okay. I want to talk about your corporate life and what was going on when you decided to start doing things on social media, because I think a lot of people want to, but they don't because of the reasons that we're talking about. So what was happening? What made you get into it?
Yeah, I think so. One of the things that I feel like happened was, and people ask me like, "What's your why? Why did you start? Why did you start on social media?" It is because I got pissed off to the point where I was like, it can't be this. So it has to be something better. And I was looking for just an outlet. And honestly, when I started posting on social media, it wasn't to make money or to be able to quit my job because I never would have thought that. I mean, like I said, like I was in tech, senior manager. I was eventually I was on the this journey to being promoted to a director. I was moving to senior director. Like I knew my path. Like I had this corporate path. I've always been a high performer in corporate, and so social media for me was just a creative outlet. I was just kind of posting, kind of having fun, and it wasn't something happened at work where I got so mad, and I can't get specific about the situation because I just feel like the people know they already know what they did, but it was around the holidays, and I don't know why. I actually text my friend group, and honest, I know we can get into this because this is
Yeah.
very much around like Black women are the shit.
Absolutely.
I was at a one of my previous companies. I was in this ERG, the African American Network, which was like we called it Focus, and I met these amazing women because in my corporate experience, there hasn't been a lot of people that look like me in these spaces, and so when I met these women, this became my like core group. I can
Yeah.
text them, and it just felt good to be surrounded by people that get it. And
Right.
I actually text two of them, former coworkers, and I was like, this time next year, I need to be in a position to leave corporate because there was things that were happening that was literally breaking my heart, like the microaggression, like all the games, struggling to just show up because of some of the situations that were happening at work. And so I got serious about social media, and I just remember texting them. It was like December 22nd, because I had been playing around on TikTok, but not serious. December 22nd.
Hmm.
I posted this video, probably like, I think it was like December 23rd, and it was like a storytelling video. Me, like, I had a strong hook. I was doing my thing. And when I look at it now, it looks cringy, but I was serious, and that video went viral. So the video goes
Yeah.
viral. I started gaining these followers. And before that, it was hard for me to gain followers. But
Yeah.
when I was like, I got to do this. Started gaining these followers, and I told my husband, and then I kept going. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going viral on TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to keep it up, and I got time because it's like the holidays. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just posting nonstop, and I told my husband, I was like, by the time the clock strikes midnight, I'm gonna have 10,000 followers on TikTok, and that milestone is so significant because when you reach 10,000 followers on TikTok, then you can monetize, so you can
Yeah.
start getting paid for views. And I did. I had like the 10,000 followers, and then it just started to grow. And honestly, when I say this was a creative outlet, I also wasn't talking about work because I worked in corporate. I wanted to. I'm always going to play it safe,
Sure.
and so I was just talking about being a homebody, talking about like my things that like around my home, the aesthetic, all the things, and people started to gravitate. They liked my story. So I grew up poor, and at one point in my childhood we didn't have a place to call home, and so I talked a little bit about that. I talked about being a homebody, how I value home at this point because I didn't always have that growing up, and people love the storytelling is how you connect with people. I learned storytelling in corporate, and I was able to use that in my content, and it just worked, and the platform just grew from there. But it started from getting pissed off at work.
Well, yeah. Storytelling. Storytelling is everything. That first video where you were pissed off at work and you were storytelling, what can you tell us more about what that story was? I'm just curious. Going
So
viral.
So one of the things that I just remember the hook so well, and I still didn't know what I was doing, but the hook that I used was is anyone else a homebody, but yet you like being invited to things, even though there's a 99% chance you're not going. That it was people were like, me too, like,
Uh,
and that helped me. I learned a valuable lesson on social media is like people want to feel seen, and it's not about you. Like the way to grow community and to grow on social media is to make it about other people and not you, and them seeing yourself in seeing themselves in your story. So
what did I just see? It was so funny. But yeah, it's always like that. Like some guy came on ranting about when you get behind people and they turn the corner really, really slow. And I'm cracking up because you're like trying to go forward, but they're taking like 45 minutes to turn. And I mean, it's not even a story, but it's like, okay, you feel me. Am I the only
Yes.
one? Like, God dang, will you turn? Yeah, it was so. Or somebody did one. I shouldn't even say it because it was talking about being autistic, but it was funny. It was very relatable, to
Mhm.
all of us. So, you're right. Storytelling, and I feel like storytelling allows you to be vulnerable, right?
Mhm.
Like you said, people can see you. You're being seen. Okay. So you do the video, you're talking about being the homebody, and then I guess you get on a roll during the holidays and you keep going and you start to see your numbers go up, which is so exciting. I mean, I can
Mhm.
I can say from my own personal experience, I'm not at 10,000 on TikTok yet. I'm at I don't know, I think I'm at like 5,500, but
Mhm.
if I gave it more attention, I think because YouTube is my prime, and then you just take it, as you can. So you're going along, and I saw you because you must have been talking about being black in corporate America
Yeah.
and how that experience was going, right? And eventually you did talk about that on. So how were you balancing that while still working?
Mhm.
Because that I think is a deterrent for people who, even if they don't want to post about that, they're afraid to post, period.
Mhm.
How do you do that and still be working?
Yeah, so so after my platform started to grow for probably for like the last almost a year, I didn't talk about my job. It was when so I was still going homebody, this is really cute. And I just remember one day I talked about working from home, and like it was something very home work from home, no regret purchases, something silly, very like capitalistic. But people were like, well, what do you do for work? And I then talked about like I work in tech, I do this. I didn't talk about the company or anything. I just made sure to keep it very like high level. This is about me, this is not about the company.
Mhm.
But I did start to talk about, I remember the first time I talked about an issue in corporate, and it was I talked about like when I learned that performance alone would not get me promoted. And I actually talked, when I talked about it, I talked about how I was in this skip level meeting, because corporate people know you do the skip level meeting, you need that visibility. But I had asked my boss's boss, like, what do I need to do to get promoted, to get to the next level? I had taken these three lateral moves, and I talked about this in the content. And he said, there's nothing else you need to prove. We're not ready to promote you. And I don't know why. That just kind of, it was like this light bulb. I'm like, it was never going to be me. So
Yeah.
I need to take that and have that make me better, not bitter. And I ended up leaving that company. But I talked about that because I think also one of the things when I started posting, I was reading I read our employee handbook like daily. Like I had it downloaded. I'm continuing to go back and look at the social media policy just to
Right.
make sure I was compliant. But I think I feel like I had a little more freedom because when I worked in tech, I think that there is some differences when you work in tech and everybody's doing different things. And but also I just made sure I was in a highly visible role too, so I probably overcompensated too. Company needs me to travel, I'm like, I do it because I didn't want you to mess up what I had going on over here with my social media stuff. But I
Right.
but I also wanted it to appear that I was like all in. Like I never wanted anyone to be like, well, Roxy's distracted. She's trying to be a social media influencer. So I probably overcompensated it in my day job because I was focusing on this other thing over here. But I kept it about me. Like I don't name company names. Some of the situations that happen, they're out of order. So it's very difficult to pinpoint like, oh, this happened at this company that she was at. And I made sure to do that. Now I got to a point where when I did started making money from social media, and the more money I made from social media, the bolder I got because
Yeah.
then I had a plan B. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
that was why I became more bold in posting and talking about my experience. And yeah, it just yeah,
So you made money from social. Did you make money from being monetized, or did you make money from brand deals?
both. So
Mm-hmm.
I made money from for actually before I even really made anything from being monetized. My first brand partnership, it was like $125 for a video,
Wow.
and that just showed me it was possible. And it was actually right after I started going viral on TikTok. By the time that the at midnight I had like when I talked about at midnight I had like 10,000 followers. When that wave wore out, I had like 25,000 people that were following me just from
Wow.
that posting around the holidays and people starting to find my account. And a brand reached out to me and they wanted to pay me for a video. It was like $125. And that told me that, okay, I can make some money doing this. And then more brands reached out. I think that year, the first year, I think I made like, it was like $15,000, which I think that's pretty significant because I had tried to do like little side hustles and stuff. And it is very difficult to find side hustles that are going to pay you that, pay you at least what that
Yeah.
is. And so yeah, it was from brand partnerships and then also being monetized on TikTok initially, and that's where I was making my money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I've had some people reach out. One I was kind of like, oh, this is interesting. They wanted first they asked me to do it for free, and then I was
Mhm.
just like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Mhm.
And then they're like, no, we want to pay you. What are your rates? And I gave them rates, and maybe they were too high, or I don't really know. But then
Yeah.
they just I didn't hear anything back. So
Yeah.
whatever. Luck. Fortunately, not to say I wouldn't want to, but I guess we're waiting for the right thing and not just doing anything. Because there's one in my
Mhm.
inbox right now. I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I couldn't even make it make sense. I want to talk about. I watched. I was just like in prepping to have you on. You said some stuff, and before I ask you this question, you started making money. You said you had a plan B. You were getting bolder.
Mhm.
At what point did you say, I'm going to quit my job and do this full time?
I so I had I think one of the things about me is like I'm risk averse, and so I just it had to be substantial for me to feel like okay I can leave my job. And so even before I decided I was going to quit corporate, I went part-time. So my the role that I was in at the time, I'd asked my boss could I go part-time. She agreed to it. And it actually worked out really well because I thought that going part-time meant that I lost my benefits and all of that. But what had like I was working 20 hours a week, still got benefits, still got like holiday pay and all that kind of stuff. It just blew
Oh,
my mind. I never thought I
wow.
didn't think that that was the case. And maybe it's also maybe because where the company's located. But so I went part time. I did part time for I think almost 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I think about 6 months. And there was many times where I felt like I could like leave and I'd be okay because I had like partnerships happening and money coming in, but I wanted to make sure not only was I able to do rev. So after that year, I made the $15,000. The next year, I made six figures, and when I made six figures, I'm still working my corporate job. So to make six figures and you have your corporate job, that's pretty substantial. But
Sure.
to me, I'm like, okay, so maybe this was just a fluke and this just happened. But so I was like, if I can do it again, let's see if I can do it again. The next year, there was a single month where six figures and opportunities came in. So I felt like okay, like I do have something. I've done this 2 years in a row, and that just made my decision a lot easier. And one of the things that I always say, because people are like, you can do both, and there's people out there that are like, don't quit your corporate job to do this. I have gotten to a point where I am trying to like, how much of my time am I willing to exchange for money? Like, when is it enough? And if I can replace my corporate salary by doing something else, I, I just decided to do it. I just decided to take the leap, and I had this strong pipeline of opportunities coming in. I have a great management team, and I just felt like I had a lot of support around me where I just didn't want to do both. I didn't want to have two full-time jobs anymore. I mean, even though I went part-time, I just didn't want to do both anymore. So
Yeah.
that just helped me to make that decision.
Yeah, this morning I went to meet um, a friend of mine. We went to high school together, but we've worked together and we're going to do some work together right now. And we're like, yeah, let's go to
Mhm.
breakfast, on a Tuesday, you know.
That's the
And we,
best.
I know, and we got to somewhere and I'm like, they're closed. I don't know why they're closed. Where should we go? And then we're there and we're just talking to the people that work there. And I just looked at him at one point. It's like, isn't this so great that we don't have to be at work somewhere? Like, honestly, like
I know.
I to explain that to people, no disrespect, no shade, because people who work corporate, they have access and savings and money and perks and things like that I do not have, that I have to create for myself. But,
Hmm.
you know, it just wasn't for me. So when I'm like, God, this is to be rolling around on a Tuesday, just trying to, figure out where I'm going to go meet my friend for breakfast,
Hmm.
and be making money from the meeting.
Hmm.
What? So
Hmm.
that's what I don't want to do both. I don't want to
I
do both.
know. That's and my it was kind of time. I mean, timing was just, it could not have worked out more perfectly. But me and my husband, we were on this journey to adopt, and
Yeah.
we had we found out. Well, we August I quit my corporate job, and we had an adoption that fell through.
Mm.
But a couple months later, we find out about this little girl who was born super early, like 3, almost 4 months early, and down in Louisiana, and we live in Ohio, and so we were back and forth, and
Yeah.
I just think if I still had my corporate job, I would have had to explain why I need this time off, figure out how it's going to work. But because I worked for myself, I didn't have to tell anybody. I'm
No.
there one week, I'm home. Like, it just worked out, and I feel like God's timing
Right.
is everything. And there are a lot of people that will question, like, well, why'd you quit your corporate job to do this? And I have reasonings, personal reasons, and I feel like as a black woman, I just feel like I've had to go so hard for so long that when I have an opportunity to be soft, to do things that are where I don't feel like everything's so urgent, like
Right.
I need to take advantage of that, because I just been going hard for so long, and I'm still going hard. I'm just
Yeah.
choosing what I go hard after, instead of being forced to do things just because I have to. Like, now I just do the things that I want to.
It's just like, and when things are working out and you're not going so hard, or you feel like all the work that you've done is finally paying off. I can't, what that feels like. It's just like, oh my God, this what that's like? It's like
You
a,
just feel a little lighter. You just feel lighter.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, right? Well, congratulations on the adoption, by the way, too.
Oh,
That's,
thank you. It has
yeah,
changed our life. Oh my gosh.
I
I,
believe it.
and I just
I've seen the videos. I've seen you like holding her, but
yeah, she's the sweetest thing, and it's kind of I also, I don't know why, maybe it's just the way that I'm wired, but I never took a break from working and hustling to be like, okay, we I should figure out, like, do I want to have kids? Should we start a family? And then by the time that I decided, like, oh, okay, I think I want kids, like, it was hard to, like, try to, like, get pregnant. So um I just I'm so grateful that it all worked out, and I was able to finally become a mom, to finally
yeah.
settle down and figure things out a little bit, and take things a little
That
slower.
that's real because I'm older than you, and I mean, I'm not married, but in my early 40s, I was just like, oh shit. Should I?
It sneaks. It feels like it just like
Yeah.
what
And
happened. It snuck up.
well, damn. And by the time I got to the doctor, and I wasn't even 1000% sure I wanted to, right? But I got to the doctor and she's like, "Oh no, honey." This is what she said. "Oh no, honey, women your age are done." And I
Mm,
was just
hmm.
like, "Oh my God. Wow."
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But then another doctor's like, "Oh no, no, you have like lots of eggs."
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, but I didn't have a daddy. So I was
Yeah.
just like, you know what? I don't know that I want him this bad, but I'm like I had just been on my hustle and working and seeing the world and being in the world and all this stuff was always priority. So then by the time you figure it out, you're just like, uh-oh, and I tell
Hmm.
people, if you want some, you don't listen, don't, you know. So yeah, what you're saying is real. I mean, I don't know the specifics of your situation, but yeah, we can focus on work so much and then,
Hmm.
that time just creeps up on you. And I think and she specifically told me at that time, she was like, a lot of people are looking at these celebrities,
Hmm.
who had kids older. Was it was it like Halle Berry or Janet Jackson? Somebody.
Yeah. I
And
think
she,
I thought I was thinking of Hallie, but maybe.
yeah. And she was like, girl, she's like, most of them, and I was living in LA at the time.
Hmm.
So she probably was right on because she knew.
Hmm.
She's like,
Hmm.
most of them, they have donor eggs, so
Hmm.
we are thinking that you have, like I can still have a baby at, 45,
Hmm.
and it's just like, mm, so yeah, so that's an important point. So,
Yeah,
and I
for
know
sure.
working for yourself definitely gives you more flexibility, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, okay. So, I like what you said in one of your videos I saw. You said you started sitting in the front seat of your life. Okay. And I
Hmm.
really talk about what that means because I mean, I guess it's a little bit more of a continuation of what we've just been talking about. It's hard to explain that to people who don't
Hmm.
and who can't imagine that. And as a Black woman, I think sometimes we've talked about it on the podcast because similar to a lot of the stories that we've been talking about and experiences, you've got the good job, you're making the money, you're in a good corporate job and you're
Hmm.
starting to exceed the money that you're making in the good corporate job. So people can't even fathom why you would leave a corporate job, but you're making amazing money doing something that's a little less in,
Hmm.
well, you have more control, I guess,
Yes.
over, yeah.
Yeah. I think one, I love the thought of, of sitting in the front seat of our life and of our careers, because what I have found, and I'm sure other women and just other people in general have found, is that we glorify a seat at the table. We glorify someone pulling us up a seat at the table, somebody seeing us and was like, "Today's your day. Like I'm gonna promote you." And I feel like we spend our whole careers, we're just waiting for someone to call us out, to give
Yeah.
us an opportunity. Where I have found is that if I stop waiting and start thinking about how I can create my own opportunities, now I'm taking control. I'm not waiting for someone hoping that someone out of everyone else is going to be like, "Roxy, today's your day. You're going to get promoted." And I think one of the reasons why I started to think about that was when that in that skip level meeting, when my boss's boss said, "There's nothing else you need to prove. We're just not ready to promote you." Because to be able to, one, I'm so glad he said that, because not everybody's going to just tell you the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
But that day I was like, okay, if you're not going to do it, I'm going to have to figure out how to do it for myself. And it is a very hard journey to step outside of the institution, the corporate institution or whatever, this like what feels very stable, and to figure out how to build something for yourself. But that is, I mean, it's amazing when you do. I mean, that's why I feel like it's a trend now to be like, I'm betting on myself, I'm betting on me. But
Yeah.
that's it. I'm betting on me, and I'm going to one create my own table because I don't need a seat at anyone else's table, but I'm also going to be in the driver's seat of where this thing goes instead of being in the passenger or the back seat while someone else drives and dictates my career.
And also, what I love about you and your story, how do I say, as a Black woman, and just dealing with, what we deal with in life, right? You're a Black woman, you're dark skinned Black woman like myself, right? Which, many can say is even more challenging. Some people can say, uh, being able to choose your own path and not let any of that matter, right? You've got people who are online, mad about different people's success. Maybe I don't want to say mad, but sitting back and judging it because, oh, they're pretty, oh, they're light skinned. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they, you know, all the things. And I just feel like the internet just opens the door for anyone who has a phone, and
Mm-hmm.
a connection. So, um, there's just no reason. Now, it's not everybody's jam, certainly not everybody's jam, but I mean, you could be a wood floor installer. I say this because I'm about to do some wood floor work, and you can watch you, and I'm captivated by these before and after videos or whatever. You could just be somebody who's, excuse me, who's into decorating their home, or anything, and be successful on the internet. So, I mean, what do you say about the opportunities that are out there? And if people were to have excuses for why they couldn't do anything, what do you feel as like a Black woman? Do you feel like the opportunities are even greater? Because I feel like people are really dialed into Black women. They want to
Mm-hmm.
know what we think, what we have to say. They bite off of us and everything that we're doing, the way we speak, the way we dress, the way we do things. Do you think the opportunity is greater? Do you think? Because I'm trying to work my way into, I don't know, like, you see the beauty influencers say they don't get the same shine as some of the other, maybe the white women or whatever. You're in a totally different space. What are your thoughts about being
Mm-hmm.
Black and being,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'll be honest. I feel like there's been, I feel like my whole life there's been so many things that kind of have worked against me or have tried to work against me. But I just strongly believe that it might be harder, but it's not impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And it just might not look like someone else's journey. So, for example, for me as a creator, I do a lot of different things. So, one, I didn't feel like I could be totally a lifestyle creator because maybe my lifestyle, my aesthetic isn't what people wanted to see online. I can't just be just a knowledge creator, which I could, but I feel like my earning potential and how I show up in that space, it looks a little bit different. So like I have tried to diversify myself quite a bit. So there's no one else quite doing exactly what I do. So like I can be humorous. I can tell you a good story. I can do a poem. Like there are so many things that I do differently that
Yeah.
or I can straight talk. I can talk directly to the camera. I used to be a consultant, so I can teach you how to do things, and I do all those things because I definitely want to create a more differentiated experience around me. That's the beauty of a personal brand, anyways. But like I said, I just think it might be harder, but it's not impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely have to have that mindset, because if I was to think like in corporate, "Oh, I'm the only black person in here, so that's going to be a hindrance to my growth." Like if I just have that mindset about like there's no one else that looks like me, there's no one else who's done this. If I let that hinder me from even trying, then I'm just stopping myself from my seeing my full potential. So yeah, I just feel like we just have to keep going, because like I said, it might be hard, but it's not impossible.
I think and hard is relative too,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
because what's hard to me um might or what's hard to you might not be as hard to me
True.
because of all those things that I mentioned, right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because I even think about, so content for me, when I first started creating content, I had very little confidence. Like I felt like I had been beat down so much from, like I actually talked about it in my content one time. On one of my performance reviews, I was told I need to play for the team on the back of the jersey instead of the front. And I sat with that. I'm like, what does that mean? First of all, it's not
What does that
constructive.
mean?
How do I take this and do something with it? And I was just so beat down. I was lacking, my confidence was lacking. I felt like it kind of showed in like my outward appearance and just everything about me. I just felt like this is a dark cloud. And when it comes to content, I just felt like there is an aesthetic to it. Like people can see when you're not on your A game. Like
And we'll tell
and
you.
yeah, oh my god, the things people say on social media, like I
Unbelievable. Like
so
what?
people will pick you apart. Like people talked about my laugh on social media. They've talked about
What?
my weight. They've like called me all kinds of names. Like and that's his own battle. Like besides the fact that you're showing up and doing something that not a lot of people want to do, but not a lot of people are actually doing
Ew.
it.
Right.
Uh, then you have to worry about like all the people that are going to say any and everything they can about what you're doing. But yeah, I think some of the hard too with even with social media is fear, like fear of what other people are going to say, and making sure that like you have built up your confidence enough to be able to handle what other people are going to say about you.
Honestly, if you just start, just like I have a friend,
Literally.
he'll know I'm talking about him. And he just started a website and he's selling a thing. And he's trying to do these like faceless videos. But
Hmm.
what he's selling is all about, it's like there's a whole personality. I'll just say it. He's selling plants. He probably won't even see this. So he's selling plants. And he worked all hard. He built the website. He's selling plants. Now it's time to
Hmm.
do social, right? And I'm like, okay, and I'm like, listen, here's this little lav mic. I got two different lav mics. You can get one of these and da 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 da. He's like, yeah, but I'm not even gonna talk. He's trying to be like faceless. And I'm just like, okay, okay. But, people get into the person, and even to see this guy's apartment, the way he lives, it's like the apartment is totally dope. It's like a whole loft in downtown LA and it's got
Hmm.
this aesthetic. And I'm like, I don't know why you don't, but he can't. He can't do it. He can't bring himself, or he's not there yet. And
Hmm.
I'm just like, just do one. Damn, just do one, because people, that guy, have you seen that plant guy? What's his name? Hilton Carter. Hilton Carter. Have you seen this guy? He had a deal with Target, when we
Oh, I
were
may
going.
have seen him.
Yeah, black guy. And I'm just like, his whole vibe. He grew a fiddle leaf fig. It got so strong that that figs actually grew on that damn thing, and you're just like, wow.
Hmm.
But you get into the person, right? And
Yeah.
and then you buy from the person. And when I was going to Target, I was just like, oh my God, Hilton stuff is here. And I've got one of his like planters upstairs. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's a lot of us can't get, it's scary, it is,
Hmm.
and I've talked about, I have a friend who I'm like, just do a video. Don't worry
Hmm.
about what everybody else is doing or try to be like everybody else. Like somebody kept asking me, well, one day when you get a studio, I was just like, yeah, I'm probably not going to do that because I'm not trying to do that. Like
Right.
if I had to fly somewhere and be in the studio because it was somebody so amazing that I had to have them in a studio, I'd be like,
Hmm.
okay, but this allows me to talk to anybody in the whole world,
Right.
So it's like we can put all these obstacles up and say only if, when I get, or I'm gonna
Right.
do, but just it took me I think it took me like a year to publish my first podcast
Hmm.
from the thought, maybe a little more. So,
Yeah.
it's hard, but you know what? It's just a muscle that you've got to learn to exercise.
Yeah. And the only way to get better is to actually do it. Like continue to do the thing. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to look like your favorite creators out there, but you're not starting at this from the same place. They've been doing it for a
And
bit. So, yeah, it's just going through the anybody who's willing to go through that uncomfortable state to figure it out can do
yeah.
well.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time like I have my glass, I have all this stuff, it's dusty, you know. I used to would have been like, ah.
Somebody told me the other day they was like, and dust that this bookshelf. In the comments, like, did you not hear anything I said?
No, no, they didn't. They just scroll and just zone in on some dumbass something. Dust the book. It's like, really? Yeah. Yeah. Nobody's been too, I haven't had anybody that they'll be harsh now. They're a little harsh. Like, I think somebody said I had too much cleavage one time. It was such a good conversation. I don't even have big boobs. You know what I mean? Do better, sis. What?
Yeah,
You know?
be your own. It be our own people.
It's like some guy said I looked mannish. I was like, wait.
People are crazy.
Just like, okay. And you gotta laugh at it, honestly. You
Yes,
know what I'm
you do.
saying? Like I saw this girl like bawling her eyes out about some stuff some people said. I'm just like, but I haven't been attacked like that, so I don't
Hmm.
know. I mean, if I get low views, I feel like, gosh, nobody, you can get that, so I can't even imagine if people just like come for you and
Hmm.
come for your looks all the way,
I
it's just,
stopped. I stopped even. Well, I do look at comments because I'm like I like to respond to comments. I like to engage. Now,
mm-hmm,
one
mm-hmm,
platform like so brands run my ads. Like if I do a brand partnership on like Instagram, they'll usually
mm-hmm.
run ads on it, and it's usually on Facebook.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll go look at the Facebook comments. I have a Facebook page, but I do not get on there. And these
Right.
comments are like, I stop looking at them. They get nasty. It is
Wow.
crazy. But yeah, I just avoid even trying to look at some comments because I don't want to break my own heart.
That's your advice? That's your advice because yeah, I think it's hard. I mean, I think when you first get started, you're so happy to get a comment. And then
Mm-hmm.
you start to get comments. And then it's just like, and I had to remember that because sometimes when I'll have a guest on, if somebody says something mean about the guest or if they zone in on something like you said, like dust the shelf or something stupid, and then I'll want to go off, but I can't. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? You
Yeah.
know what? I appreciate that people are talking in the comments, and I have to start
Mm-hmm.
looking at it like that because I did a panel.
Engagement. It's good.
Yes, it's all engagement. Yeah, I did a panel on religion a couple of weeks ago, and it was women who had left religion, black women who had left religion. It was a lot of talk in the comments, and
Hmm.
I'm supposed to be neutral, right? So
Hmm.
but anybody who watches me, I mean, I'm neutral as much as I can be because I've
Hmm.
talked so much about myself. Am I neutral? You know what I mean? But when
Yeah.
people start to say stuff, it's just like I want to say something, but sometimes I just don't say it. I don't say it.
Yeah. I definitely think if you get a if you're posting content and you have a post go viral, like don't look at the comments. But don't turn the comments off. I actually I
No, no.
yeah, it's just like let it ride.
Yeah. Okay, so you had mentioned, and I heard you talk about self-promotion, and I've talked about this too. Um, and we talked about it, I guess, a little bit. We're kind of touching on it now. And I find that to be really difficult for a lot, I think Black women especially, because like that comment that you just said, like what did the guy say? You need to be the back of the jersey. What was it
Mhm.
again? Because I
Oh
want to
yeah, it was you need to play for the team on the front of the jersey and not the back.
okay, front, not the back. Okay. So
Because
yeah,
the
I
front is
had
like sports team, it's the team name on the front, and then the
uh-huh.
back is like your name. So yeah.
Okay. So well, wait, but was that saying that you were more about you than the team?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Which was really difficult to hear because I was in that role that I was in, I was one, I was rebuilding this team from scratch, and I had to hire like it was a high performing team. One,
Mm-hmm.
we saved the company money that year, we made the company money that year. And in order to when you're trying to build a high performing team, one of the ways that I have found to do that is that you have to publicly talk about the work, talk about what they're doing, show the results. One, it just energizes the group to feel like, okay, this works matter, and it shows the larger organization what's happening. And so that's what I was doing as the coach of this team.
Yeah.
And I've taken like a lot of management courses and things because I no one really taught me how to be a an effective manager, and I wanted to. When I
Sure.
took that on, I'm like, I need to figure this out. And so I talked about it. I was sharing what we were doing, and it was that team the work that that team did. I mean, it's still being used within that organization. And so I was actually really surprised when I got that feedback. And I think that's why I know that's why I also talk about insecure leaders, and also like how to be an effective manager. If you don't have anything negative or critical to provide me on my performance review, don't say that. Like that
Yeah.
literally follows you as an employee. So
And it's yeah, and at a certain point, I mean, you think back to some of the stuff that's said to you in a performance review by these people, right? Who haven't done even the work that you've done to begin to be an effective leader, right?
mhm.
And then they say some shit like this to you, which is what is that even, whatever. And you're like carrying that with you forever, and you have to like undo the damage that's done, you know. I you have to just like realize, okay, some of this stuff was just lies. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
at a certain point, I was told, but I know it wasn't a lie. It was true. She said you need to become a better self promoter. So
Yeah.
I feel like that shows that you were actually good at promoting, right? Because I was not. I'm very much, even though I'm doing my podcasts and stuff, I'm not, even though I'm doing my podcast and I'm a Leo. Okay, this is the thing because people, I saw your videos. I am a Leo, and I do come in the room and I do have an energy shift and all of those things. I know I have those qualities. I'm not like, look at me. I'm
Mhm.
doing this thing, or look. And I think this podcast has been the first time I've ever been like, oh yeah, I have a podcast. Oh yeah, you should check it
Mhm.
out. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
like this is the first time that I've been like that about anything that I've done. But that's been very hard for me. It sounds like you're you kind of got it on self promotion. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
got but I do feel like when I got that type of that feedback, it made me want to do less, and it made me want to just kind of fit in as opposed to trying to figure out like how do I stand out, how do I be more visible. And it humbled, like it humbled me honestly. And which is the opposite of how you want to handle someone who is a high performer, who's building a high performing team. Because if you humble them too much, eventually one either they're going to stop being effective at their job, or they're going to go find somewhere else where they feel like they can thrive. And
sure.
that's actually what happened in my case. But I feel like there have been numerous times throughout my career where I felt like where a leader was trying to humble me as opposed to actually giving me feedback that I could use. And I feel like in that example, I was trying to they were trying to humble me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they've tried to humble me too. I didn't recognize what was going on at the time. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
didn't recognize what was going on at the time. Okay. Let me see what else
And
I got. Go ahead.
I was going to say about self-promotion, it is hard. It is hard to talk about yourself, to talk about your accomplishments. And I've read this somewhere, but women have a harder time doing this than men do. And but it is something that you have to practice. You can't expect other people to know what you're doing or what you're working on. And even publicly on LinkedIn, like, some people have this fear of talking about themselves and the work that they're doing, but I always do it. I will always say it. Like, I used to do this thing called toot your own horn Fridays, where it's like, I'm going to talk about something that I have done because I need to be sharing more about my work. And it also helps you to realize that, like, I have done a lot. I am taking up space. I am doing all these things, as opposed to not talking about it or not recognizing that you're doing a lot of amazing things.
One of my friends told me it's actually annoying when you don't acknowledge all of the things that you've done,
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, all right, damn, it is. My friend told me that this morning, and I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm about to publish episode 62 of a podcast that I have put out consistently with no repeats for a whole year, like over a year. That's
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Were you going to say most what?
I was going to say, I thought I saw a stat somewhere that said that, like, most podcasts don't make it past the first season, or it was like an episode number, like 10 episodes or something.
No, it's 3.
Oh, 3 episodes? Oh, okay.
So I felt in my mind when I heard that, I was like, that's not even a real obstacle to me, because, okay, I made it past 3 episodes, but I tend to downplay everything, and I need to stop doing that,
Yeah.
You said something about being delusional until the confidence kicks in. So, talk about that, because we talked about being confident. Is that like fake it until you make it? Is that similar to that?
Basically, I mean, there is even the people that are most confident. Like, let's think about, like, Beyonce. Beyonce has an alter ego. If you feel like, if I felt like actually Roxy does it when someone sees me outside of social media world, like out in the real world, basically, and they're like, oh my God, I love your stuff, and I'm like, I literally, like, I don't even know that person, because that's not who I am. Like, outside of social media, I am Roxana, and I have a hard time associating myself with this social media persona. But honestly, I have embraced it at this point, because I've done the work to build this following, this audience, and I'm taking up space in this way. But it didn't start that way, and I had a fear of being seen. I was struggling with my confidence, and so I had to be delusional. When I see other people, like, oh, if they can make 6 figures doing social media, then why not me too? And so just taking that on and like really believing it until my confidence was able to catch up. I feel like that's why I've been successful with doing social media, because honestly, there's a lot of days I don't feel it either.
Yeah.
And so I just,
has it
you
caught
gotta be
up?
delusional.
Are you past the delusion, and now you feel like you're a more confident person?
I do, but it was so funny. But a few weeks ago, I was in Nashville, and I was meeting with this agency. So my management team brought me to this meeting with an agency, and the guy I was talking to, he was like, he mentioned Tabitha Brown, like we work with her and all this kind of stuff, and he was like, you, Tabitha Brown. And afterwards, I was like, me, Tabitha Brown, like, there's levels to it, and it's not like nobody has ever talked about us in the same conversation. So I think even that, I'm like, I still struggle to feel like I've built something that is up the level with people that I feel like have been doing it longer, who that are more recognizable in the space. But I feel like I am getting to a point where I am making a bigger impact, and I do need to feel more comfortable with my name being associated with next to someone else who puts their pants on the same way that I do. So
Right?
yeah.
Oh my God. Well, it's true. It's just like, okay, you have you said like my agency, right?
Yeah.
That's agency. Okay. Like how does that happen? Like when do you get that? You know, what level brings that on? That's really like that alone right there is like next level.
Yeah.
As far, you know, most of
Yeah.
us
I
out
feel
here
like
aren't don't have an agent, you know.
doing it. It's true.
So right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it has been kind of it's kind of hard to, like, I talk about it now like it's just like, oh, this is nothing. Like my manager, my agency, but thinking about when I started, I didn't have any of this. Now it just feels
Uh-uh.
like it's just like a everyday conversation. It's like people that live in I was talking to this guy and he's like, next time you're in LA, you have to, I'm like, LA, I live in Dayton, Ohio. But it feels like it's the same type of
Listen, Chappelle lives in Ohio. You can live
he
in
does and
Ohio
he
and
lives down the street from me.
does he? See? You could be big living in Ohio. And that's the beauty about the internet. Shoot, you could live anywhere. You still have an
Anywhere.
internet connection.
Right,
So,
right.
mhm. What made you know that you needed an agency? Did they approach you? I'm asking this for personal and for the viewers. How do you know
Mm-hmm.
when you need an agency?
So I knew because my opportunities were, one, they were getting larger. The number of people that were reaching out to me was it was becoming more frequent. Like first when I started, I mean, I might have gotten an email about a partnership once every 3-4 months, but
Hmm.
when I started to just when it became somewhat unmanageable, I felt like I
Right.
needed to bring on a management team to support me, and it's
Nice.
been amazing, from the managing negotiations, the contracts, all the things, to just so that I could focus on the craft and doing
Yeah. Yeah.
the work that I
I
do.
love that. Okay, so let's talk about your personal branding because I want people to be able to find you, and I want you to talk about personal branding a little bit before we get into it, and then close out because you've gone from I'm a homebody to now you're working on helping people with their personal branding because you've obviously been so super successful with it. Talk
Hmm.
about that and the importance of it because I've talked about it a little bit. It's important. It's
Hmm.
game changing, but
It
people
it
don't
definitely is.
realize it. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, and I sorry for cutting you off.
No, no.
It definitely is, and what when I realized that I needed to, one, focus on the brand I was building, was because I thought I was going to get laid off in 2020. I thought I was going to get laid off from my corporate job. All I had ever known was like moving up the ladder, my title, this is who I am, this is who Roxy is. And when I thought I was going to get laid off, I just didn't know what my path would look like if I did get laid off. And I didn't have a strong network outside of the people that I worked with at this company and the people that I worked with at before. And so personal when you start to invest in your personal brand, because we all have a brand, it's the perception, like how we're perceived and what we're known for. When you start to really invest in your personal brand and branch out, you create more of a web around you where, like, I could go back to corporate, or I could reach out to this person or this brand. Like I just, more opportunities are available to me because more people know who I am. And it's not about going viral on social media. It's not about necessarily like visibility. It's really like it's about like what you're known for. So like when people think about the thing, and I've said this in my content, when people think about the thing, whatever it is, that you do, when they think about it, they think about you. That is how you know that you've built a strong personal brand. And so I really saw this, for the first time. The first time I realized that, like, oh shit, like this is, I've built something here, was I got this opportunity with, it was Choice Hotels. Choice Hotels was like, we want to bring you to DC. We want you to do this media tour. I didn't even know what a media tour was, but I'm like, okay, sign me up. So I get to, and I was in for a rude awakening too on like what a media tour was.
Yeah.
So I go to DC, and I was still working in corporate at that point, but I go to DC, and I show up to one of the buildings, and near downtown, Washington D.C., and a media tour, which I soon found out was that I was going to be broadcast to the news stations and radio all over the country. And when I go into the green room, because if you haven't seen my content, one of the first way when I branched out from talking about being a homebody, I started talking about corporate, but then I became the millennial manager, and I started to just show up as this millennial manager on social media. I go into this green room, and in the green room on the screen, it had Roxy Couse, the millennial manager. This is something that I created for myself on social media.
Right.
And so now I'm known as, I was known as the millennial manager, which was really cool. And opportunities came my way. Like people would be like, we want you, when brands were reach out, they're like, we want a video, but we want the millennial manager to, we want you to use what you've been doing on social media, these skits for the millennial manager. I just think that's really cool because I've created that, but it's when your personal brand is everything you've ever been and everything that you are right now. So it's your skills, your interests, it's your values. It's not your corporate title. It's all those things around you, your subject matter expertise that make up who you are. So like I said, when people think of the opportunity, whatever it is, they think about you. Even if it's like they want the millennial manager, even if they want the homebody, they're thinking about you because you have shown up and socialize who you are and like what your brand is made out of, or made up of.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think that really helps to like explain it to people because people are like, what's a personal brand? Like, why
Yeah.
do I need that? And, you creating that and it sounds like you're evolving that into, well, you're evolving the millennial manager into, I guess, being known to help people with their personal brands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does
Mm-hmm.
that, mean? And I guess the one question I want to know is, do you feel like people need to kind of just start, or do they need to know where they're headed with their personal brand? Because as you help people with their personal brand, mine is just kind of falling out of a passion that I had. Like yours is falling out of, you just were playing around, you were just having fun on TikTok, and then you start to do some things that start to gain some traction. Did Millennial Manager, I'm sure wasn't the first video that you put out. It probably wasn't the first few that kind of developed after you kind of got going. And I think a lot of people find themselves stuck because they want the personal brand. They want to be known for something, and they're trying to start by being known for something. And some people can be, especially if they're real specific and niche down. But
Mm-hmm.
what do you say to people who are trying to figure out the personal brand? I mean, do you think they should just start and just get some motion and some momentum behind them, or do they need to have an idea?
So I think one one of the things that I talk to people about when I'm talking about personal brand building is that one, you do need to sit down and think about your what are your interests that are the things that light you up, the things you care about. What are your skills? Like what are you good at? What are your subject matter expertise? Like what incorporate, like for me, e-commerce, customer marketing, those are things that I was really good at, and being a consultant too.
Right.
And then also your values. So your values are going to look different from my values. Like, what do you care about? And if you can you can start to really think about like what are these things, and start somewhere and you have to sit in it. I think one of the things that people try to do when they're trying to do social media, for example, because when I talk about personal brand building, I'm helping people to figure out how to show up on social media and be effective, is you try to do different things and you need to sit in something for a really long time. So for example, when I took this angle of like, oh, a homebody. And it started to pop off of me talking about being a homebody. I just sat in it. I sat in it for an extended period of time. I then moved into, when I started talking about working from home, I talked about like my work from home stuff, the outfits, the reason why I get dressed up every single day for work when I've been working from home for since 2020. It's because I built that on social media. I'm like, I'm going to put on an outfit every day and I'm going to show people that outfit. I'm going to walk into my office like I'm starting my day. I actually had like for 6 months, I did these videos where I got dressed, I made my coffee, I walked into my office. I'm like, hey, I'm unpacking my bag, I'm talking to the camera, and I just would post it. So people started to gravitate towards that. They're like, oh my God, it feels like we're coworkers. It feels like we're going to work together. And just
You always have a
completely.
good coffee.
Oh my God. I'm a barista. I'm an at-home barista.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I started to make really good coffee from working from home, from wanting to do that with my content, honestly.
Yeah.
And it just worked out. So I just think you have to like pick an angle and make sure it's like make sure it's like unique to you. So recently some girl on social media stole one of my pieces of content, like the full thing, like the hook, the title, the all the things. And I actually called her out. Actually, one of my mutuals sent it to me, and then
You stole it?
she completely took it. And after I
Was she
shared my
black?
story, no, she wasn't. She wasn't. Uh,
We talked
after I
about that.
shared,
We talked about that. We talked about that.
uh-huh. I
Okay.
shared it to my stories and my followers, of course. Like she had a small following, and I mean, I have almost 400,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
But I comment, I was like, "Hey, girl, that's my video. You didn't give me credit for it or anything." And she's like, "I get inspired by a lot of people on the internet." So I'm like, "Okay, because you're gaslighting me." I shared it to my stories, and then and finally she took it down, and she actually sent me a message. She was apologizing. She's like, "I got defensive. I did take your content." So people who want to post on social media, think about your story. Like I said, those four buckets, and then just start. Like just start. You can start talking to the camera. Like do whatever like you need to do to like start to socialize your story. It doesn't even have to start in video. It can start on LinkedIn. You
Hmm.
start sharing like, hey, I want to start showing up here. It can start on Substack.
Yeah.
However you want to show up to start to spread out, like to build something. I mean, it can even start at work. Like people don't, and I talked about this a little in my content. When I started showing up on social media, it didn't like when people started, and we also talked about like we underestimate or we overestimate how much people care. When people started to find my content from that I worked with, like yes,
Hmm.
some people were laughing and stuff at work, but it also got me an opportunity. I was promoted to actually it was more like a lateral move, but I did get a raise. It was I was responsible. I moved to being responsible for content, community, social media. That would have never happened for me because that wasn't my path if I had not have started posting on social media. And so you never know the opportunities that are going to open for you because you start to build this personal brand. And actually, I was actually moved to co-host the podcast for the company I used to work
Oh,
for too because they're
wow.
like, oh, people are following you. You have an audience. This would be great. So I don't know. There's so many opportunities that it could open for you if you just start being more visible and showing what you know and the things that are unique about you.
Yeah. Yeah. You just gotta start. You just gotta start. I tell you. I know it's hard, but like if you just start, it just got
Somewhere, yeah. Figure out
something.
what
Do
works for you.
something. Do something. Well, I love having this conversation. Because getting people from all sorts of professions, and I've never just had a creator, right? And because you did it, you've done it. Like you've left corporate, and you're not even talking shit about corporate, right? You just left
No,
corporate. I saw what you said in one of your videos, like corporate served you well for the years that it served you. I agree, right? Because we learn, we sharpen our teeth there, right? And then
Hmm.
we leave and we go on and do bigger, better things for us. It's like, what do they say? Get what you need to get and get out, right?
Hmm.
Everybody's not going to get out, but
Right.
for those of you who want to, here is a woman who is using the tools available to her in 2026 to create a life for her that she loves. So
Hmm.
I love that. So tell people about your personal branding. Do you have a course? Do you have, what are you doing? Are you just consulting one-on-one?
Yeah.
What's that?
So I was consulting last year,
Mm-hmm.
and from consulting, I realized one, I need to figure out how to scale myself, and working one on one with people was not going to scale it. And
Girl,
so
no.
I started to build a platform. So the platform is called SlowFi. It's slowfi.com. So basically, I'm building it's a SaaS product that helps people to build their personal brand. We have our wait list open. So you could sign up for our wait list. I've also started to do some workshops. So I'm doing a workshop next Wednesday and next Saturday. And it's around how I built my personal brand, how you can get started. And so yeah, I'm excited about that. You can find me on social media at Roxy Couse, and I'm also on LinkedIn, Roxy Couse as well. So I talk about all of these things over there, and yeah, and I even share tips in my videos.
Yeah.
I don't think that personal branding is something that, like, because I've done it, I definitely don't want to gatekeep how to do it. Like, anybody can do that. The barrier to post on social media is very low, but it is an area where, like, if you look at the creator economy, like, it is growing exponentially, and there's people that might feel like it's oversaturated, but there's always room for one more. When I even think about knowledge creators B2B, there is a very small group of us, and so anyone can do this. It's literally just about getting started.
Okay, where can people sign up for the workshop?
Yeah, so it is. I would say it's in my bio. I can also send you the link if you wanted to share it. But
I'll put it on the
um,
screen if you want.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It's not an easy one to like just.
It's not really. I'm using Stand Store for it, so it's
Okay, okay, okay.
I'll
I'll
share the
put it
link for you.
below. I'll put
Yeah.
it below. I'll put it below. I'll put it below. No, I'm glad you said that about the barrier to entry. I think that's the thing. Like, yes, maybe there doesn't need to be one more TikTok creator or one more podcast or something like that, but you might just have a niche that lends itself well to it. So I say you're never gonna be sorry you tried. Let's just
Right.
say that.
Exactly. You'll
You're
be
gonna
sorry you
regret.
didn't try before you're sorry you did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You don't want to ever regret not trying. So
Hmm.
just try. And then also be patient. Be patient with the growth. Don't be looking around. Just look forward. Don't be looking around. Don't look behind.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
you'll trip yourself up on that comparison thing, right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. And one comment is one comment, and one like is one like. That's what I have to say. It's just like, oh,
Hmm.
somebody liked it. Somebody said something, and that just be excited about that, even if it's a
Hmm.
few, right? So
Yeah,
people are
it's
paying
I still
attention.
remember when my only likes was like my mom, and so every time I would post a video on TikTok, I'm like, I just posted a video. Can you guys go like it?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just recently I was like looking at my comments on a video and I saw that Black China had commented, and I was like,
Ah,
oh, I missed that. Like, I don't even see when people comment that, but now, but there was a time where I knew every single like, I knew every single comment.
yeah.
And it does feel like it happened overnight that things changed, but just because I kept going.
I just started like I was like maybe I should pay attention to these things because Sterling K. Brown's wife, what's her name, Michelle, she liked one of my videos and I was like, oh, okay. And for those who don't know, Victor Newman, Young and the Restless, why did he follow me?
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, you know what? I'll take it, right? So I
That's
was,
where I see the age gap, because
yeah.
Victor ain't following me.
Well, I'm not in his generation
Oh,
either,
true.
ma'am.
True. My bad. I just called you old, and I didn't mean
You
to.
did. I was just like, no, wait a minute. I don't think I'm that much older than you. But come on. I was just like, okay. You know what it was? They had posted some back in the day Wyatt Young and the Restless video or something like that, and I commented on it. And ever since I commented on it, I'm just like, okay,
He's like, I like her.
Okay, I did used to watch it though. I was a big fan, but that man is at least 30 years older than me. So, but I'll take
it on TikTok.
Oh, he probably really isn't. You know,
but it is amazing. I thought TikTok was just like Gen Z. It is not like the following that I've built of like one. I look at my audience and there are much. It's a widespread. It's not just. There's no 20-year-olds like following me on social media because I post about being a millennial, but. It regardless of the platform, I think it's also important that people realize is that like the stereotypes of how we think people are TikTok just for dancing or like the younger generation is there. That is not the case.
It's educational. Do you know how much stuff
I've learned?
And honestly, you know, I don't know what my followers are like that demographically because I haven't really looked. I know on YouTube I have mostly millennials and Gen X, which I'm Gen X, right? So millennials and Gen X, but Gen
X came for me the other day.
Why?
Because I posted video.
I saw you were trying to make fun.
They were like, "That's not us. That's boomers."
Was that the one with the wig? Wait, where you had? I'm like, no, why she do us like that? The thing about Gen X is we don't want to be old. We don't think we're old. We think we're still young, but we're not. But it's.
I mean, it's same for millennials. Like the knees ain't what they used to be.
Listen, every time I go to the trainer, he's like, "How are your knees today?" I'm like, "Quit asking me that. They're fine." Every time. They're all right. So, well, Roxy, it's just been awesome having you on. I really am so glad you finally made it. We've been trying to talk. Me and Roxy started talking over, it was like a year ago. It must have been when it was. But you know, stuff happens. You had some big life stuff. You left your job. You adopted a baby. Like that's major. Like, you know, you caught up with me. We caught up with each other eventually, you know, and hopefully we'll have you back. So yes, thank you so much for coming on. I loved having you. You guys, I'm going to share all of Roxy's information below. And so we will see you in the next episode.